So this is review from the 3.7, 3.8 quiz. So review from algebra. So when you're doing this, when I'm first finding the slope, it's rise over run. So I could pick either one of these 2 points, and my rise would be how far up do I go? So I'm going up, so it would be +2. Now I'm going to the right, so that would be +3. So this would be 2/3. If you picked this point to the other point, this would be down 2, and then I move to the left 3. That would be -2 over -3. Either way, it's still going to be positive 2/3. So I'm graphing this line. So you should be pausing the video and trying to do these first by yourself, and then checking your work with me. When I'm graphing this line, I see that my slope is equal to 2, and my point, remember it's always opposite, would be -3, +3. Or else you can solve this equation. If I solve this equation, the first thing I'm going to do is multiply the 2 in, so by the x and by the 3, and then add my 3. And then I could solve, or I could also graph this using my slope of 2, and this is my y-intercept at 9. So if I went -3 and +3, 1, 2, 3, there's my point. So x moves left and right. Your first point moves left and right. And my slope is up 2, because it's a +2, and if there's no number, it's always over 1. So up 2 over 1. I could graph my line. Or using these two, I go up 9. If I can't go up, 2 over 1 is the same thing as -2 over -1. So I could have gone down 2, because that's -2, to the left 1. Either way, it's on the same line. Horizontal and vertical. So if I were to plot this point at -3, 1, 2, 3, +2, when I'm looking at my horizontal line, that's this line right here. My horizontal line goes through my y-axis. Since it goes through my y-axis, that means y is constant. So in this case, my horizontal equation will be y is equal to 2, because that's what y is equal to here. Y equals. My vertical line goes through my x-axis. My vertical equation is going to be x equals -3. You should draw out the picture to help you. Last one on 3.7. Writing the equation that passes through these 2 points. First, you have to find the slope. So if I label these x1, y1, x2, y2, I'd have -3 minus, so you have to look at your notes if you're not sure what your equations are, 3. And because I use -3 first, I have to use 4 first on the bottom. So it's your difference of y's over your difference of x's. This becomes a -6 over, this becomes plus 6, which is equal to -1. My equation, the line, then I can use either one of these 2 points. So y minus y1 using my point slope form. If I use this first equation, first point would be -1 here, and then this would be x plus 2. Or I could also use y plus 3, so my y value goes here, and then equals -1 x minus 4. You could also solve for those 2 equations, either one of these 2 equations if you solve for it when you're writing your equation. So this might be on the test where it gives you your answer, but you have to write it as the slope intercept form. So my overall answer would be y equals -1 x minus 1, because -2 plus 3 is equal to these +1. If you solve this one, you would also get the same thing. So that's 3.7. Now looking at 3.8. So if I'm looking at my slope here from one point to another, my rise here, I'm going up 2, so this is a +2. My run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So one slope is 2, 6, which is the same thing as 1/3. My other slope here is up 1, 2, and run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one's also 2 over 6. So yes, these are parallel because they have the same slope. So same slope is always going to be parallel. So now looking at this is asking you to write the line that's parallel to this that goes through this point. So here my slope is equal to 3. So since it's parallel, my parallel slope is also going to be equal to 3. Now I have this point to -4, it's given to me. I have to use my point slope form. If I have a point and the slope, I have to use my point slope form and then solve for y. So this would be y minus, my y1 is a -4, so this becomes +4. My slope is 3, x minus 2. So I have to distribute my 3 in, and then add over or subtract over my 4 because that's a positive, so I have to subtract. So y would be equal to 3x minus 10. That would be my parallel slope that goes through that point. Perpendicular needs to be opposite reciprocals, but we're still finding my slopes of both of these first. So my rise from this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So a rise of 8 and a run, I'm going to the left, so that's negative 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4. So if I look at, that's the same thing as 2 over negative 1. So now if I look at my other two, I have a rise of 1, 2, 3, positive 3 over a run of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the same thing as 1/2. These are opposite. One is negative, one is positive, and the reciprocals, they're flipped. So that means yes, perpendicular, opposite, and reciprocals. So my last one, first I'm finding my slope. So my slope here is equal to negative 3/4. So my perpendicular slope is going to be a positive 4/3. Positive because this one's negative, and I use my point slope form, the same thing right here. And I have y minus y1, so that'd be a plus 1, my slope, and then x minus x1. So you have to distribute the 4/3, and now I subtract my 1, so my line perpendicular to that be y equals 4/3 x minus 5. That is review from your quiz.